The Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Paula Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon. Your journey begins now. As you call the path and both the known and unknown, what do we understand? What answers are we trying to achieve? Are there answers? Tonight, we gather to find more verity. Join us as we take the journey into the unknown. This is the Phantasmic Journey Podcast with your hosts, Gavin Kelly and Paula Purcell. Well, welcome to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast, everyone. I'm Gavin Kelly, and sitting right next to me is my lovely wife, Paula Purcell. How are you today, Paula?
Doing pretty decently.
Pretty decently?
Pretty decently.
Is that a word?
I guess.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm still sick. This is going on a month now.
Oh, for all of us.
Good God, you're sick too. So, I'm going to try my best here because we have a really good special show tonight. Our special guest tonight became interested in the paranormal field at a very young age. She has experienced many strange and unexplained things, but it wasn't until the age of 25 that she began to research and investigate the paranormal. Because of the house that she lived in and the time was believed to be haunted, her family had many frightening experiences there. It was so bad that she was afraid to go into the house alone. Not knowing what was going on or what was going to happen next, that's when she decided to start investigating with her friends and eventually formed a team. She wanted to help others who were experiencing paranormal activity so that they would be comfortable living in their own homes. Whether for a client or for fun, over the years she has also investigated hotels, inns, historical properties, cemeteries, forts, lighthouse, office buildings, apartment complex, and restaurants. You have seen her on SYFY's television show Ghost Hunters. We will be welcoming later tonight Shari Marie DeBenedetti. But first, Paula wants to go ahead and talk about the news.
Yes, yesterday was the election. I won't say much about it, but we do know that the Democrats got the House, the Republicans got the Senate, but at least Rick Grimes is still alive.
Oh, damn.
Yep, you got my pun.
I didn't even think you were paying attention to that. That he got picked up by a helicopter and flown off somewhere.
Yes, I did.
Well, I mean, they went ahead and did that so that way he can come back later on.
Know. She gave the, her final, yeah.
But his little girl is taking over his place.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting future episodes.
Yeah.
Yesterday was my birthday, so anybody that's listening that put post on my wall, I haven't put in a little thing yet to say thank you yet, but for anybody who was listening, thank you for any of the posts or private messages, texts, numbers of best wishes. Thank you very much for everything that's posted. Now on with the other news. Since I did the political part.
There's more news?
There's more news. I have like three or four things. Today, back in 1908, on this day, the true identity of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid are reportedly killed in Bolivia. So, that's a true story. Also on this day, which is something you might you be interested in.
Okay.
In 1994, WKYC, the students' radio station of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, provided the world's first internet radio broadcast.
In 1994?
In 1994, on November 7th. So those are a couple of nice tidbits to give. It's also the first broadcast of Buck Rogers in the 24th century of CBS radio happened today in 1932.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of broadcasting radio shows came out today in the years past, starting in 1904. And then it has proceeded on, and then it turned into televisional broadcasts by 1957. So...
Okay.
So there's a lot of making history in broadcasting today. But let's go on to the strange, weird news.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Oh, this one's gonna scratch your brain and think, oh my. A British woman's engagement to a ghost she met in Australia is getting others into the wedding spirit. Last week, Amethyst Rem of Bristol, Tennessee, announced that the unnamed ghost proposed to her during a road trip to England's Wookey Hole Caves in Somerset.
Was meth involved?
There was no getting down on one knee. He doesn't have knees, she said about the proposal. I could actually hear his voice, and it was beautiful, deep, sexy, and real. Now
and it sounded like this.
Now the resort...
Yes! Oh, yes, I'll marry you. So, I'm just curious. Look at the wedding party. You'll see the living on this side, and all the other chairs will be empty, so I'm assuming that's his family?
I don't know, but anyway. Now the resort where the caves are located has offered to host the wedding. I'm just started laughing at it. Has offered to host the wedding of Rem to her ghostly groom, according to the Somerset Live newspaper.
Oh, boy.
Amethyst Rem is not the first and won't be the last person to experience out-of-body sensations at the cave. They have been recognized as crossover point to the spirit world since the Stone Age, a place where people can connect with long-lost friends and relatives no longer with us. The resort has a woman who dresses up as the Wookiee Witch, who mentally says could perform the couple's wedding. The Wookiee Witch is named after a stagmite in
Did you say Wookiee?
A Wookiee Witch.
Wait. Nope. Nope, I can't do it.
Stagmite in the cave that looks like a woman who has turned to stone.
Or a Wookiee.
If Amethyst's ghost lover has indeed been attracted to the cave's remarkable aura, then the Witch of Wookee is a powerful lodestone to commute with the departed. He added cheekily, and she would be happy to help them with reword till the death us do our part clause. No wedding date has been announced, and Rem has not officially accepted the offer. However, she may be looking beyond the wedding to the next stage, parenthood. Last December, she confessed her desire to get pregnant with a ghost baby.
All right. It's a Casper.
It's done a bit of research into phantom pregnancies. There is a possibility that it is a ghost in you, but people don't know how to carry it to full term. The shower isn't just a place to... Okay, yeah, that's the end of that story.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I knew about this the other day, and I was like, oh, this would be awesome. I mean, that's fruitcakefulness. last thing before,
I'm still stuck on her being pregnant with a ghost.
Like I said, she's done.
Casper, get back in here.
For some reason, it kind of thinks me. What is the name? What was the movie where you had? Was it? What is it? What is it you did last summer?
Oh, when the girl was getting screwed by a ghost?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a scary movie.
Scary movie.
And the ghost and she gave him crabs.
Yeah.
You gave me crabs. Call me. Maybe. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, moving on from that story to my last story for the day. How many of you out there are shower singers? You only sing in the shower.
That would be Brad.
The shower isn't just a place to sing. Separated from our cell phones, standing under running water often allows people's mind to run free.
Sure, and it sounds like this. That was Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Reddit has an entire shower thoughts subreddit dedicated to the miniature entities you have that highlights the oddities within the familiar. In honor of those weird, wonderful, and sometimes profounding muses, here are some of the best posts for the week, and you can actually add to Reddit your shower thoughts, as if when you were showering, that'd be a good thought, and you can go and put it on Reddit.
I want to have a karaoke screen in my shower with a waterproof microphone.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, here are a handful shower thoughts. See what you think.
Does it include, never mind.
Cheese is just a loaf of milk.
In the shower?
Well, no, these are what random people think about when they're in the shower, and they think of these shower thoughts, and they go and post them right after they get out of the shower.
I'd be sitting there taking a shower and go, so, here's a random thought. When did a fish actually learn to taste for worms?
Oh, God.
Was he just like laying there on the beach going, hey? The other guy goes, what? Ever eat a worm?
Anyway, it says cheese is just a loaf of milk. Your skull doesn't have a facial expression. Your flesh just moves around it.
Oh, my.
Constantly skipping a song on your favorite list is kind of like realizing you don't like a friend as much as you thought you did.
Oh, Jesus.
Kids today will never know the excitement of going to Blockbuster on Friday after school to rent a VHS for the weekend.
Woohoo! VHS. I remember them days.
School is basically a recap of human history because we missed it and never need to be caught up before we can function in society.
Wow.
Yeah. They say out of sight, out of mind does not apply when you are in your room and catch a glimpse of a spider and then lose it.
You know what I think when I'm in the shower?
What?
Uh-oh. I gotta poop.
Oh,
Yay!
yeah,
Yay, lady! I gotta go poop. Yay!
God.
That's what I'm thinking.
And here's my last one. We take it for granted that the text messages we send aren't showing up as something completely different on another person's screen.
They put a lot of thought in that while they're in the shower. Oh my God. That is just some weird, crazy stuff.
Well, it's just like the app they had, and it's probably still out, where you go to the bathroom and you check in.
Ooh, it's the poop app. Yay! I got the poop app. Yay!
And you actually target yourself. It has a part where you can actually GPS yourself to where you're at and link it to the site.
Yay! Can I call my other friends and see if they're pooping at the same time?
Oh my God!
Yay! We're pooping at the same time. Yeah! I got to poop in Hawaii. Yay!
Oh my God!
Okay, for everybody that is just joining in, our special guest tonight became interested in the paranormal field at a very young age, as she experienced many strange, unexplained things. But it wasn't until the age of 25 when she began to research and investigate the paranormal. I am talking about sci-fi television show star of Ghost Hunters. Let's welcome tonight Shari Marie DeBenedetti. We're going to go ahead and get her on the phone right now. Maybe. My computer's doing some weird stuff, so we'll see what happens.
Hello?
Hey, how are you doing? This is Gavin Kelly and Paula Purcell Kelly next to me.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Getting ready for bed.
Oh, good Lord. What time is it there?
Oh, it's 9. I go to bed early, but that's okay. That's okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were having some crazy news, so I don't know if you were listening in. You probably would have been totally cracking up. You probably need to wear the pens for this news. It was bad. It was bad.
No.
It was
No, I wasn't listening.
bad.
Oh, yeah. We have a woman that's wanting to marry a ghost that's in another country.
Well, he proposed to her,
Well,
supposedly.
yeah, and now she wants to have his ghost baby.
Yeah. No, I actually did hear about that.
Oh, my God. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, here she is in the hospital. You know. It's Casper! I mean, good Lord,
Yeah,
come on.
That's one excuse, I guess, these young women could probably use, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, she said that his voice was beautiful, deep, and sexy when he proposed to her, and I'm like, it probably sounded like, and she's like, yes, I'll marry you.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, I am so happy to have you on our show.
Thank you. Happy to be on.
Let's see, it says age 25 is when you began to research and investigate the paranormal. You actually had a lot of strange experiences, I guess, growing up. Can you go ahead and tell our listeners what experiences you had?
Sure. Yeah, well, growing up, prior to living in that specific house, things used to happen here and there, but I never really paid attention. I kind of just closed my eyes and just thought, okay, that I didn't see anything, and I would just kind of go on with life. I never really got into it until I actually did move into this house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first moved in, we only lived there for about just maybe like 4 or 5 years. And like the first couple of years, nothing was going on. And then all of a sudden, all these weird things would go on. The lights would go on and off by itself. The doors would open and shut, and either kind of like creaking really slow or slamming open, things like that. Footsteps, noises, knocking, just, I guess, well, now it's the regular stuff, but when you're living it, for the first time, kind of, it is a little nerve-wracking.
Right.
They would let my bird out of the cage. It'd be locked up at night, and then all of a sudden the bird would be flying around. And, I mean, there's no way it could get out. It never did for the first 8 years of its life,
Huh.
All of a sudden he's getting out of his cage by himself. But anyways, this specific night that kind of got me started in, okay, I need to know what the hell's going on.
Right.
I was just going down to sleep. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as I laid down, now I wasn't drinking or anything, and I just got back from my future ex-husband's place, and so when I just laid down, all of a sudden something grabbed my ankles and held me down to the ground, or held me down to the bed. So when I went up to go and see what it was, they grabbed my wrists and put me down to the bed. And then I tried to, yell out down the hallway to my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and they put their hand over my mouth and then pushed my head down to the bed. and you can feel the fingers. So it wasn't like just like a pressure. It actually felt like somebody grabbed me. And I feel the fingers like on my lips. I felt everything and stuff. And then as soon as that happened, then this apparition appeared on the bottom of my bed, and it looked like a doppelganger of my boyfriend at the time.
Oh wow!
And yeah, so I'm like, exactly from like the hair, the clothes that he would wear, the body shape, like everything. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I couldn't see was his face, and it was just enough light so that I can see a lot of him, but it was it's the moonlight, so it was just kind of But once he came over, he started walking over towards me, and he leaned over me in bed, and so he didn't have a face, and the face. It looked like it was like if you're looking out to like in the midnight, mm-hmm. and you're looking out and there's no clouds, it's just like that, right. That distant black, see, that's kind of what the face looked like. And he was just staring, didn't do anything. And I don't even know for how long for, because like 1 second could feel like an hour, so like I don't really know how long it was for. I just know that I was like very nervous. And then he just got back up, and then he just started walking, and I heard the footsteps in the carpet, and I saw his legs moving, like the top part of it, but not until like he kind of got to the other side of the bed, where I can see the bottom. Then I noticed he didn't have anything from his knees down. There was nothing there. But then the door opened, he left, and the door closed by itself, and then everything was lifted off of me. So ever since kind of that night, that's when I started kind of doing my research and, reading books about spirits and ghosts and, mm-hmm. Just try to do as much research and talking to people as much as I can. Back then there wasn't really the internet, and,
right.
And things that you can kind of like look up and things, and obviously, there's so many people to talk to now, but back then you just didn't know who to talk to or who you even wanted to say this stuff to, because it just sounds weird, But that was my main reason why I got started. But once the more and more I did research, and then I started to go to friends and family and in their homes and mm-hmm. and try to do some investigating and stuff. And, as soon as I figured out, I actually because I'm kind of fast forwarding.
Okay.
So the more I did this stuff, the more I got into it and stuff, and the less of course, the less you get scared. The more you do it, mm-hmm. The more you do anything, the less you get scared. So I just felt more comfortable and stuff. So that's, where I started to, get a team together. And then I, went out and just started helping other homeowners, with whatever they're, it's a word of mouth thing, and I just started helping them. And I don't know, that's pretty much how I got started, though.
One thing that I've asked some of our previous guests from season 1 had if they actually experienced that same thing that you were talking about, but mm-hmm. sleep paralysis was involved in that. Have you ever had that?
Right. I don't know if I've ever had that. I do know when people describe what they go through, it's not what I went through. Mm-hmm. Just because I felt the hands. It wasn't just like a pressure and okay, you can't move yourself and stuff like that. It wasn't like that. And mm-hmm. I can still like move, like say like my knees. You know what I'm saying? Like right. I just felt like my ankles were down, my wrists were down, but I can still wiggle around. It wasn't like my whole body was just dead, and so between that and between this thing coming up to me and So I think maybe if the ghost wasn't there in front of me, and maybe if there were other in all the other things that weren't going on in my house, that maybe I would have thought, well, maybe it was sleep paralysis, but because of those different factors between what I went through and what I heard what other people go through when they have sleep paralysis, that I know that mine wasn't that.
So after you did experience this, did you kind of research the history of your house and find out if somebody was, there was a tragedy there, someone was murdered or anything? I mean, what actually brought this entity to the house?
That I don't know, and I will never know, because we did move soon after that. Like I said, we weren't in the house for that long. But for my knowing what I know now, I'm just kind of assuming we probably brought it back. Because everything, it was perfectly fine.
Right.
For the first few years of us living there was nothing happening, nothing going on. And then just all of a sudden, one night, it just, all these weird things started going on. And then it was basically almost every night after that. So for like a year, we were just like, oh my God, and this is crazy. I mean, we were so scared going into the house. It just gave off this really, really awful vibe. And so I never wanted to go in the house by myself. So, I mean, I would seriously just sit in the driveway waiting for my parents to come home. And if I didn't need to come home, then I wouldn't come home, because I was, going back and forth to college too. So I was, if I don't have to go home, I'm not going. I wanted nothing to do with that house.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like maybe somebody bought something, like some type of antique or an artifact, and brought it into the house.
I mean, say that sounds like that one case I worked last year.
Yeah.
Where it involved a family member inherited a mirror from a great aunt.
Right. I remember that.
And they never had any activity in this house, and they lived in this house for 10 years. And then all of a sudden, this great aunt died, and they left this mirror to him, which is an old mirror. It's about a 100-year-old mirror to him. And then after they placed the mirror into their house, they started having strange stuff, and they contacted us, and that's how I found out it was about the mirror and not the house.
Right.
Possible.
But I honestly don't even know. I mean, it's been, obviously I'm never going to know.
Right.
Because it's been so long. I know that my parents would never go to an antique place. It's not their thing. But whether somebody has given them something and they just don't realize that it is an antique or something, that could have happened. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just we're never gonna know.
Yeah, usually
never gonna know.
Whenever we go to a residential, which we haven't done, but I mean, we did do some, but it was always due to somebody buying an antique, going to a yard sale, picking something up. It's like, ooh, that is so cool. That'll look nice in the living room, Next thing you know, they start having activity, and they couldn't figure out why. Here, they lived in this house for 10, 20 years, nothing's ever happened. They come back from this yard sale, and the next day, weird things are happening. So the odds are they brought something in from an antique store, yard sale, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but we've all actually had issues in a house that we grew up in. Paula had a house that she grew up in that was there's stuff going on there, but she wasn't actually at the time doing investigating and all that.
No,
she never did any of that stuff.
No, but Mom did do historical research on the built place to find out, what could cause that, and kind of find out that the house I grew up on was part of a plantation, and my property that the house sat on was part of the slave graveyard.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
So that's the reason why we had all kinds of weird characters going on in our house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, Let's see. You've investigated hotels, inns, historical properties, cemeteries, forts, lighthouses, office buildings, apartment complexes, and restaurants. Now, which one would you say you had the most weirdest experience? I don't want to say frightening because, well, they're all frightening.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's besides like being in your own house and being frightened and stuff, it's very rare that I go someplace and be frightened. I just haven't had that experience of anything just scaring me that much. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's more of nothing has ever grabbed me or scratched me or anything outside of my house.
Okay.
So I've never really been like frightened. If something comes in front of me, okay, yeah, you might jump just because you're, but it's not scary.
Okay. Well, with that
you know what I'm saying? So, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, with that aspect then, what location that you've been to that you've felt you need, how do I say not drawn to, but it kept you not on your toes, but it's just one of those locations that sticks a memory to you that you've been to, and it just kind of sticks with you that was a place that was the most not really scary haunted type situations, but you've had experiences there, but it sticks with you. I have a couple locations that stick with me that we've done in the past.
Sticks with me. I don't know. I could probably be here for a while. Things that it's because every experience is, everything is different. And a lot of what we do, we don't go in to go ghost hunting. We go in to, investigate,
right.
So a lot of these are, their claims, and we try to obviously disprove and debunk and whatever we can. We try to, figure out what's going on for these people,
right.
and just try to help them along. So, that's really my main thing. Yeah, I do like to go and ghost hunting and, myself and just to go and have fun, but, a lot of these, like for a personal thing, for back home, there was one that I do always think about, but it's more of a private home residential, more than the commercial properties, and that's only because I guess it's more personal.
Okay.
Because you're going into somebody's home and you're actually helping these people and being more comfortable in their home. It's not like a commercial, property type of thing. So
right.
I think those are what I more think about. And, for example, one that I do think about a lot is there was a woman. She lived in a house, and it was just her and her two children. Nothing really ever happened to her daughter, so I didn't have her, stay in the house when we investigated. But it was really like her and her son, and it was a lot to do with her son because the son just turned 16. He started, got his license and stuff, so he wasn't really around, and he obviously, what 16-year-olds do, they're out and about, and however, he started drinking, and he was, of course, drinking and driving and stuff, and so, but every time he got home, he would always hear these footsteps and door. Oh, is that?
What was that? What happened?
Okay. I don't know. Are you guys talking?
No. We're not.
Oh, because it's. Oh. I'm hearing myself through the phone. It's popping through the phone.
Oh, wow. No way.
Oh, so anyway, so he. Oh my God. honestly, it's so loud I can't even concentrate.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't.
You don't.
I'm gonna talk about here.
You don't have us on the computer, do you?
No, it's just my phone.
Well, I wonder why it's
But
actually
everything
doing that.
I say is repeating back to me really, really loud, and I can't.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's it. Yeah.
But it's weird. As soon as you started talking about this subject, next thing you know, you're getting these echoes. Because it hasn't done it for at least a good, 25 minutes or so?
Right.
That's weird.
And it's so loud. So yeah, it's just hard for me to concentrate. But I'm gonna keep my ear away from it because I can't hear it.
Okay.
So
That's weird.
anyway, so this boy kept hearing like the front door knocking and the footsteps right next to him. He'd hear voices in his ear, but it was mostly geared towards this boy when he comes home. So anyways, the mother ended up calling me. I went in. We did the whole investigation. And basically it came down to his great-great-grandfather was trying basically to warn him to stop, drinking and driving and stuff. And so coming through the recorder, it kept repeating itself over and over again, saying this boy's name, saying he's drinking, he's drinking, he's drinking.
Oh, wow.
And so, the mother left the room for a little bit, and so I had to ask him, of course. I'm like, all right, listen, you need to tell us, what is going on? Are you drinking? Because this is your... And we know it was a great-grandfather with all the questions and everything. I have the people actually there, and they were actually communicating with whoever was talking to us. So they did a lot of back and forth of asking names and stuff like that. So we figured out it was a great-grandfather. And so the boy kind of confessed. He's like, yeah, I've been drinking. And so, and it's not up to us to really get into, I didn't want to say anything to the mother, but I was like, you really should say something. Like because you're trying to solve something and you're trying to help them out and stuff.
Right.
So when the mother came back, the son did. He told the mother everything, that he's been drinking and everything. And
so he confessed.
And so he he confessed to her and stuff. And but just to even think that we did this, and who knows, maybe if we saved his life or something, but he did stop because knowing that his great-great-grandfather was
looking out for him,
was watching him. Scared the crap out of him. So he's like, is he with me all the time? What is he doing?
He became his guardian angel.
A minute. So yeah, exactly. So I'm like, he's just watching out for you. As long as you're good, then he'll stay away. But he's just there to protect you. And he's like, oh my God. So so I kind of scared him straight. And the mother does call me every now and then just to say, yep, he's doing good. He's doing good. So I'm like, okay, that's great. But also the other side of this story was the great-grandfather used to be an alcoholic.
Ooh.
So and they're living in his house. He's the one that built the house, and so now they live there. And growing up, he used to not be a nice man per these people. I don't know. And this woman's father, who grew up with the grandfather there, he would never step foot in the house because he had such a bad upbringing. Because he was an alcoholic, he didn't do nice things to them and everything else. So the father never wanted to go back in. So during, we even brought that up also. And eventually the grandfather actually did say that he was sorry. So of course I wanted, the the father to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So she had, the whole audience, all of the family, and I did say, I'm like, please try to get your father in here. I know he doesn't want to, but just try to get him into this house, So he actually he did show up for gotta help me with words here. It's late for me.
Well, I'm not going to say it was a seance, was it?
No, just like the end where, so everybody can see all the videos that we caught and all the
the reveal.
That we caught. Yeah. Thank you. Oh God, I get up at 5 a.m, so it's hard for me.
Oh, join the club. We do too.
I'm dying over here. So he went there, and he actually got to hear his father saying that he was sorry to him. So he broke down, and so the family's crying, and everybody, so it was just
very heartfelt.
And so, but I mean, that's why we do what we do, just to kind of, and some of these things are just kind of, you get some closure on some things, and to have these people actually hear, their family members and stuff, say things like that. I mean, it's just amazing. So, I mean, that is one of my favorites for investigating.
So when you let's see, we go to lighthouses and forts and historical properties, do you do like the research on the location, or do you go in with an open mind?
There's always somebody, like when I had my team, there was somebody else, did the research.
Okay.
And of course, when I'm on the show, they do the research. And I mean, I'll read it. I go into every place septic. Okay. Every single place. I will look at the place. I don't care how scary it looks. I'll just look at it and just assume that it's not haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And I will read the background of what's going on, so that what kind of questions to ask.
Right.
Because I mean, you just never know. You never know if it's been like handed over 5 times. You should know the story of all those 5 different places, because if you don't know who's haunting it, so you're gonna have to ask every family member that's who ever been there, or if there's any accidents within so many miles. You don't know if anybody's walking through. I mean, there's so many different things that you have to go through and research before going into these places.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious about that, because when you go into a residential location, you're really going in with an open mind. You have no idea what's going on there. You're basically going to go by what the owner is telling you during your preliminary what's the word I'm looking for? Boy, I'm looking for words now too. Interview, the preliminary interview with the owner. You're basically going to go by what they told you.
Right.
So, yes. That's the reason why I was asking about all these other locations, because we recently just went ahead and did one called the Industrial Slaughterhouse in Fancy Farm, Kentucky. And we kind of sort of got a story about it, but we wanted to go in with an open mind so that way we could, hopefully communicate with whatever is there. And, of course, we find out that the story that they've been telling is incorrect.
Right.
So I was just kind of curious about that.
That's the other thing, is that you can look up a lot of stuff, but you just never know, if every fact is true. I mean, just like the claims, you don't know if these claims are even true.
Right,
so
exactly.
It's kind of, there's a lot of claims that you can say, well, you don't know. You're kind of going in. You don't know who these people are.
Exactly.
So they can say, oh, there was a guest that saw this. Well, you know what? maybe they were medicated somehow, or maybe they were drunk, or maybe they were sleepwalking. Like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know.
Yeah, or it could be high EMF.
Right. Well, correct. Yeah.
Because I've heard of a story on one of our previous guests that we had on, who was Shannon Bradley Byers. Now this is new to me. I did not know this, but she had a client that was getting headaches and hallucinating when he goes to bed, and then when he wakes up, he still has the same thing. So they were like, "We don't know exactly what is doing this," until they realized right next to his head is the clock radio.
Yeah.
You removed the clock radio?
They give off EMF, yeah.
I never knew that the clock radio would give off high EMF. I learned that from her. Yeah. They removed the clock radio, put it on the other side of the room. Hey, he slept fine. Well, everything. I'm telling you, when we first started, think of, back then, I mean, there's not really that many clock radios now or cordless phones because we have our cell phones with us. But, right.
In the beginning, we could pretty much debunk so many of those, what you just said, those stories.
Yeah.
Because, when people call, it's just, we always say, okay, well, do you have clock radios there? Do you have cordless telephones? Do you have even like the cordless vacuums, some of the TVs? Like, so all of that stuff that's around you, I always said, take that stuff, unplug it, put it in another room, just throw it in another room, give it a week, see how you feel, and then call me back and see how you, just tell me how you feel.
Right.
And most of the time they're fine. Huh. It's all of that stuff that's next to you. But I mean, fortunately now we don't have all that junk next to our heads.
Right.
Going to sleep. But I mean, even in like the kitchen, I remember having like the TV to the left, and you got the microwave, and whatever, all that stuff. Even like the water bubbler thing, I forget what you call it. I mean, all these things add up, with the EMFs. And so I'd be sitting there, and I used to think that I saw black shadows running across like our little catwalk thing constantly. And I'm like, Jesus, what the hell's going on? So I got rid of some of the stuff. We got a new TV. We got rid of the bubbler, put it in the other room. And then all of a sudden I didn't see anything anymore. So, that's how... you can debunk a lot just from that.
Oh yeah, we've been doing our presentation Ghostology 101, and we basically give back to the community. They come in, they get to learn about ghost hunting and the do's and don'ts and everything. And one of the things, well, actually a few of the things that we've been teaching is things that we found out that high EMF can also come from a fluorescent ballast. I did not know that until we actually were down in the basement of this mansion that used to be a morgue. And sure enough, I put the millimeter on up to the ballast, and that sucker was pegging like nobody's business. Turn the power off, it's perfect. So it's like, add that to the list.
Right. And bathrooms, like we used to go into these old homes. In the bathrooms, a lot of people would kind of feel weird in there.
What would cause that?
A lot of the electrical issues. You got a small room too, so a lot of the electrical issues. I mean, the numbers are sky high. Yeah.
Also, water running through copper pipes.
Right. Yeah.
Limestone in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are major conductors right there. So, well, I'm pretty sure all of our listeners are kind of curious. How did you land Ghost Hunters?
Well, first I've kind of known Jason and Grant for a while. So I mean, I'm friends with them, and I mean, without getting too much into detail, there was an opening, and he just happened to call. I mean, so I don't, he knows how I investigate, and and he knows me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, some of the crew and stuff. So for him he just gave me a call and, say, hey, would I be interested? And I happen to just be able to, even though I had kids and stuff, it just happened to work out that, the opportunity came up and I grabbed it.
And there was a lot of traveling involved in that, wasn't it?
Yes, a lot of traveling. But it's all good. It's for something that I love to do, so I don't mind.
So you got to go to a lot of places. I've actually tried to watch the episodes that you were in. I think it was wasn't it the last season? I think it was that you were on, or what?
I started season 10. Season, I forget which episode, but I think I did like three of the last episodes of season 10, and then I'll have 11.
Okay.
Yep.
Because
and yes, there's more coming, and I know
we
that
hope
question's
so.
Eventually going to be popping up. So.
Oh yeah, we're hoping that Ghost Hunters is going to make a huge comeback.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because a lot of people do ask, and we never said that we were done. We never said that it was over. We just said we needed to leave SYFY.
Right.
So, but we're going to other places, and I just talked to Jason to see what to say, what not to say, and
right.
So he just pretty much said announcements will be coming soon with a lot of different things happening, and of course, haven't seen the end of Ghost Hunters, so that's pretty much all I can say right now. But,
yeah, I know how all this goes. We've been kind of been involved in something ourselves that we really can't talk about due to signing a pretty little piece of paper.
Right.
So yeah, I can relate. But we were on Jason's radio show, and this was before our show came out last year, and we actually were talking about how we do things and how he did things, and it was actually like we were almost identical on what we do and how we do it. And of course, we were talking about some of the places that they went to, and then that we went to, like Jailhouse Pizza. He said he loved that place.
Right.
So I mean, there's just a lot of places. I'm not even sure, but hasn't Ghost Hunters gone to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital?
Maybe before I did. I know I wasn't there.
Because they're about to open back up again. Actually, I believe they are open back up now, which is awesome. So I know a lot of people have been missing to go there. I mean, we love Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. But yeah, he said during that time when we were talking to him on the radio, he said that he's been looking for the right opportunity at the right time and the right, what was the word I'm looking for? The right, I don't want to say contract because, I mean, it kind of sounded like that, but it was another word for it. Right opportunity. There we go. That'll work.
Right.
But he said, yeah, we're working on something. So I was like, that's awesome.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it takes, I mean, you know how it is. It takes a while. And, the reason, a huge reason why leaving SYFY is because they wanted to change things, and that's not what we want. We don't want you coming in and changing things and faking things, and that's not what this show is about. So Jason, well, that's it, we're done. You can't.
I figured Pilgrim would have gone ahead and told them what is going to happen, the do's and don'ts, so to speak, because you guys are with Pilgrim, and Pilgrim pitched you guys to SYFY. Yeah. So I don't know why SYFY would actually say, okay, we're going to start doing all these changes. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I guess the past couple of years they've been having issues. So he finally just said, with them.
The highest rating show on
But-
SYFY, and they kicked themselves in the rear.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. But it is what it is, and so he's very happy with what he got. So that's what's important, you know. It all works out.
Yeah. Well, what would be really interesting is having Ghost Hunters on the same network as Ghost Adventures.
Are you trying to make me say something?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
that would be truly incredible, because I mean, Ghost Hunters is the pioneers of ghost hunting before Ghost Adventures came out. So, and now, you know, Ghost Adventures is like way on out there with season 16, I think it is.
No, I thought there was season. I have no idea.
Yeah, they're in 16.
Yeah.
But Ghost Hunters was doing, I want to say, at least 20-some episodes in one season. I think what they were doing. Yeah, Ghost Adventures is like doing like maybe 12, 13. So.
Right. Well, yeah, because we were doing a lot, but then we went down to 13.
Yeah.
Towards the end. But I mean, with the new one, I don't know. I honestly don't even know what they're doing.
Right.
For that. So even if I knew, I couldn't say. But
I know. Yeah, for us, we're going to be doing 24 hour to 48 hours at locations on the weekends is what we're going to be doing. So we're kind of sort of like the Travel Channel's Haunted Live, where they do theirs for an hour. We at least get 24 hours to 48 hours to do an investigation at locations.
So like the other, what's that other show? Nick Ross.
Paranormal Lockdown.
Yeah, so sort of like that.
Yeah, there's 72 hours.
Yeah.
And they just recently finished in the UK. And I'm wondering when the United States gets to watch it. Yeah, it's just crazy how all this network stuff works.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's so many ways to do it, and so many, you know, just different ways of doing investigations and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's nice. It's different, you know, all these different things different ways that people do it. I mean, there's no, that's why I don't mind, like, when people say, you know, when they make fun of other people about doing it certain ways, and it's like, why are you making fun? There's so many ways to do so many different things. And who knows what the right way is and what the wrong way is, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Everybody has their own methodologies. Yeah. We did an episode at Waverly Hills where we invited 10 special guest investigators. And the reason why we did this is because they were all from different walks of life. So we actually wanted to go ahead and film how they investigate. So it was awesome. Right. So we've got this whole group, and we're filming on how everybody is investigating, and each of them has their own way of doing things and how they're able to get activity, or how they're able to capture evidence, or how they're able to ramp things up. And that was really cool to actually see that and do that.
Right. And then other people learn different techniques and you know, from each other, and you know, this all of this competition junk that we hear every day. You know,
oh God,
like,
yes.
Again, why can't we just work together and try to, you know, figure out different things of what to do, and teach each other and learn from each other? It's crazy.
Yeah, we're all working toward the same goal. I mean, we're all going to get there sooner or later. But I mean, theoretically, there are no professionals. There are no experts. We are all students, and we are constantly learning in this field. We learn different things every time we investigate. When we're working with another team, we're actually learning what, you know, they're doing. But lately, nowadays, I mean, this field has just turned to cutthroat. It turned to backstabbing. It's turned to competitions.
Awful,
I mean, this whole thing that quote-unquote para-unity is just a farce. It doesn't exist. And it's sad but true. I mean, if para-unity actually exists, then a lot of people could actually get together, work together, and work for the same goal. and not just like, hey, I got the evidence first. Yes, I'm awesome. That's just stupid.
Right.
If you get evidence, great. Share it with the other team and show what you got. None of this stuff like fighting over who's going to put their camera at the hot spot because they did research on it.
Right.
I mean, that's just crazy and it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Nobody needs to go through that stuff. And, it happens a lot. I mean, we've gone through it numerous times. Paula's over here showing me pictures that our new camera guy, Brad, took over at the slaughterhouse. Have you, which brings me to this, have you ever been attacked, scratched, pushed, tripped, slapped?
Or any of the team, or any of the team in general,
or any of the team members, for your team.
I mean those guys, they have. I mean, I'm sure they would have to tell you the stories because I really don't know. But I mean, I know that they all have been. I mean, at least scratch. I'm sure pushed and stuff, but I'm not sure, so it's kind of hard to talk for them. But I have not. The only, like I said, they'll touch me, and then they'll like I got pinched, But I mean, when things like that happen, I don't take it as, oh my God, I got pinched. Oh my God, they're after me. That's not, because even if you got pushed, I don't think of it as, oh my God, they're pushing me. I just think it's okay. They're just trying to get my attention.
Right.
Did I, so they pulled my hair. They pull, so they've touched me different ways, but it wasn't like an attack on any reason, any way.
Right.
Scratch. I don't remember ever getting scratched. Do I have scratches that I don't know where they've come from? Yes. But was it a ghost? I have no idea. So I can't just sit there. I see people getting scratched and then them having like a burning sensation. So I've never had that.
Yeah, I'm the opposite, because we were over at the Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa, and we were in Hank's room. And Paula is sitting here talking to Hank because Hank despises women. He basically taunts them. So she was sitting there saying, and she's on camera. She has her own camera. And she's like, why is it you hurt women? Why is it you do this and that? And I'm filming her, and all of a sudden she goes, I'm feeling a burning sensation on my back. And I'm just like, yes, you got scratched. And she's like, although I'm not sharing your enthusiasm, come over here and take a look.
Right.
And sure enough, she got scratched. It was at least about 5 inches down the middle of her back.
Wow, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I never...
I mean, me personally, I have been kicked. I was kicked in the shin while filming over at St. Albans Sanatorium. I've been pushed down the stairs at the Massac County Courthouse carrying a $4,000 camera. Just recently, the Industrial Slaughterhouse, they were smudging me at the very end, so we were getting ready to leave. And I'm like, I got my arms extended, doing the T-pose while they're smudging me. And I'm like, I'm feeling tingling on my fingertips. And he's like, that's good because it means it's working. Okay, well, I didn't think anything of it until we were leaving, heading for the door. And I'm like, my fingers are bleeding. And I had puncture wounds in my fingers. And when I walked outside, Paula looked at me and she goes, look at your face. So I went around the side of the building to the bathroom, and sure enough, I got gouges on my nose.
Oh, my God.
So I got literally attacked after they went ahead and did the sage. That was some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah.
And
I never had that happen. I did see somebody, and it wasn't even during an investigation. I just happened to be over an ex-boyfriend's house, and he went to go outside and have a smoke. So he was just about to put his hand on the sliding glass door. He got lifted up. Now he's he's like 230 pounds approximately.
Right.
He got lifted up and thrown backwards, so probably say 4 feet up in the air.
Good Lord.
And lifted up, he got thrown backwards and then landed on the ground and then slid. So with like so much force that it was probably like a 12-foot entrance. Picked up that he hit on once he got onto the ground, he still slid across, and then he hit his head on the stairs, which stopped him.
Wow.
Now, this was like a 12-foot like area. But yeah, there was nothing there, and it's not like he could just fake that because, he went backwards.
Right. Where was this at?
And this was just at his house.
Wow.
And a house that he was renting, so he wasn't there for that long. But he, it wasn't towards me. Like, I didn't feel anything.
Right.
I wasn't scared. I wasn't, anything. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell that was, but he was scared.
Well, yeah, I'll bet.
Oh, God, yeah.
Man, that's just, you're talking about some major
scary.
force right there.
Yeah.
To able to pick somebody up and just throw them.
Yep. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I mean, I know, hopefully he's not listening, but I know, like, he had a lot of, like dark energy around him.
Oh, okay.
It just wasn't, I mean, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual, so I believe in guardian angels and things like that. So I'm always, asking for them to protect me and all of that stuff.
Of course.
Which maybe this is why I don't ever really get hurt, because I'm always asking for them to protect me. But I don't know what his issue was. Needless to say, obviously he's an ex. So
right.
But he but yeah, he had a lot of crazy things happen. But once that happened, I mean, I've never seen that before, and nor do I want to see it ever again. But yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, for me, I don't do anything. I don't taunt. I don't provoke. Why are they always attacking me? I don't do anything.
Yeah.
It just sucks. It always happens. It's always
I
me.
know.
Always me. Oh, man. So, out of all of the places that you've investigated, what is your favorite place? Would it be like a lighthouse, a fort?
God, I don't know. I love going into these, and just into different places, more like historical,
that are rich in history?
Places, not, just of course I do love, the forts, but they're kind of
open.
I don't know. I like to be more like kind of like in buildings and stuff.
Yeah, you want to be enclosed.
Go around forts. I get kind of I don't get bored, but it's like, all right, it's all outside in the fort, But
contamination, audio contamination, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. The I mean, lighthouses are cool, but they're not. I mean, my favorite. I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I've had better luck in more like inns and hotels and things like that. You always have those hotels that are, they used to be brothels and stuff like that. So I mean, you have all those, all that extra history in there, so you never know who you're going to get. And when you have like the whole inn or the whole hotel by yourself, and you could just kind of go anywhere and do things like that. But even, God, what do you call the other? Oh God, where they do shows, theaters
yeah.
are always really good too.
Yeah, we're actually going to do our very first theater next year. I'd love to do a lighthouse. I want to go to St. Augustine's.
Yes, I do too. I haven't gone.
It's on my bucket list.
Yep.
Forts, I mean, we've already been to Camp, Columbus Belmont. We've been to Fort Donelson. Where else have we been? What's the other fort we've been to? In Paducah, we had Fort Anderson, but it's gone.
Yeah, Yeah, we've been to Fort Beauregard, but there's not really much left of it left. But
Camp Beauregard?
Mm-hmm.
That's just a cemetery.
Yeah, but it was a fort at one time, but yeah.
Which burned to the ground.
Yeah.
But cemeteries, we try to stay away from those. I mean, some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten a couple of crazy things at a couple of them. I do have to admit, but we just don't really do cemeteries anymore. But the 2 or 3 that we did do, they were interesting.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you find out about these 2 birds and Paula.
Oh, hush.
Is that an inside joke?
Well, the deal is, you're in the dark.
She peed herself.
Well, I was in the dark, and we were in a cemetery, and we're walking around, and we only have a flashlight. And there are these birds that make their nest into the ground, and they're almost they camouflage them, so you can't actually see them. So they're ground barrel type birds. I don't forget what they're called, but anyway, you're walking through the cemetery, and you walk within like a foot of one of these nests. This bird comes flying out in your face. So yeah, what do you expect?
Jesus, yeah.
Well, at first they started flapping their wings, and it was like 2 of them, and we didn't know what the heck it was. And I'm like, that sounds like something inside a coffin waking up.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I thought it was, and we didn't know what the heck it was until then we walked up on them, and then they flew in our face. But oh yeah, I screamed like a little girl. I'll admit it. She peed herself.
Yes, I did.
That was funny as hell.
A lot of these places, I mean, they have a lot of animals in there. So between raccoons and bats, which are in most of these places.
Oh yeah.
That's what's scary.
We were at
flying around your head.
Oh yeah, we were at where the heck were we? Ohio State Reformatory, and me and Joe were inside the tunnel that goes underneath the east cell block, and we were way up in there. We're doing an EVP session, and I had a camera on the outside filming. Well, watching the footage when we got it back, there's a raccoon that walks alongside the wall and heads toward where we are.
Oh, you didn't hear him?
Nope, didn't see him either until Paula started frantically saying that on the radio. She's like, we got an apparition in the boiler room. And we're like, what? She's like, yeah, we all see it. There's like 7 of us. We can see it. While she's freaking out, we're trying to hurry up on out of there, and that raccoon just runs on out and goes along the wall and disappears. But I'm wondering how close he got to us. But yeah, he walked all the way back there.
But yeah, there was one time I thought somebody ran down. I don't know where the heck we were. That's why all these places kind of just, go into each other. So I don't know where the heck we were.
Oh yeah.
But I just remember we were next to a set of stairs. This is when we were filming, and I think I was with Sam at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought somebody ran downstairs. So I ran down after them, and then everybody else ran down after me. And so I'm like going into the cellar, and pitch dark and everything. So I'm like walking around, I'm like, where the heck does this person go? And then things were like all taped off, so we couldn't go into half these places because we don't know if it's going to fall on us.
Yeah, hazardous.
But it was a bunch of raccoons. It was just a raccoon. It was like, one of the adult raccoons.
Oh, Lord.
Must have been coming upstairs, but then they heard us, so then they started running downstairs. But it sounded like an adult male, like running down the stairs.
Yeah.
And so when we looked inside one of the rooms, there was probably like 20 eyeballs staring back at us.
Jesus.
We just had our flashlight on. So just like a family of raccoons all down in the basement.
Oh God, that's why we always turn a flashlight on or a headlamp when we go anywhere nice and dark.
Yeah.
I just cannot sit there and walk with just the LCD screen. It's impossible. I've got to have a flashlight.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Oh yeah.
I tried it when we were at the Bethlehem Academy because me and my camera guy were chasing footsteps, and we ran upstairs to the second floor, and we're like looking around. I mean, it is pitch dark. I'm like, crap, I left my flashlight down there. I'm going by the LCD. And I'm like shining it down on the ground so I can see where the heck I'm going. And it's kind of off by a couple millimeters. So it's kind of like if you're stepping, you're not really stepping in time on the LCD. So I'm like, oh, God. So I'm like feeling against the wall. No, I can't do that. I got to have a flashlight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, plus a lot of these places that we go into, not on a regular basis, but a lot of these places that we did go into, there's so many like uneven floors, and you trip over everything, and just so many things all over it's not like we're going into nice places all the time,
Right. Well, that's the reason why
you gotta be careful.
That's the reason why we always tell our class when we do Ghostology 101, if you're going to investigate a location, you need to actually go to that location, take special notes of the interior and the exterior. Make notes of where there's holes in the floor, where there's metal rods sticking out of the ceiling, where there's wire that you can trip on. There's places like Hales Bar Dam. There are actual holes in the floor where if you don't watch where you're going, your foot's going through it.
Yeah.
So, you really got to pay special attention to that stuff when you want to go in there at night. Because if you just go there, run on in, God knows what you're going to do. You're going to come out a bloody mess.
Yeah. Well, there's that one fort that we did. It was in Massachusetts, I think maybe like New Bedford or something. They had, so the second floor, you could walk along outside, but they didn't have any walls.
Oh,
or
Lord, no.
Nothing. So what we had to do is put all these the things that light up, when you crack them and they light up.
Oh, glow sticks?
Yes, thank you. So we had to...
Well, yeah, we actually start using those as well.
So we have to put those like all along because it's pitch dark, so we don't want to fall off the second floor story here.
Oh yeah.
So you have to do what you got to do, but it could be dangerous, and nothing to do with ghosts or animals. You could just get hurt.
Yeah, there's this one hospital. I want to say it's Linda Vista. I'm not really sure which one it is, but the third floor. If something scares you and you're running in a particular direction and you see open sky, you may think that you're running out the back door. There's nothing there. You go splat, Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. So let's see.
Okay.
EVPs. I'm sure you probably got a bunch of those. I've seen you sometimes when you were on Ghost Hunters, you were walking around with the recorders. So what was the best EVP that you captured?
Well, there have been many inappropriate ones I won't bring up. But,
well, I wouldn't say those are the best.
Those are the best ones.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to say, we've been cussed out a few times.
Oh, I've been cussed out a lot.
Oh God.
I mean, haven't you got of any that was kind of like help me or long like sentences or anything like that?
Yeah, I know that I have. I honestly can't even remember. I've got a really bad memory. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm just trying to think. I mean, obviously, you get a lot of names. Oh God, I don't know. I know that we did get quite a few. Sentences over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't. I honestly can't think right now of a really good one.
The best ones that I like is when they say my freaking name. That's the one that gets me. It's like, if you know me, say my name, and all of a sudden I hear it, I'm just like, oh my God, that is not a common freaking name. And it's not just going to come across the SB7 or any other device. And I've heard it so many times, even phone apps. My name comes out through it. I'm like, oh boy.
Right. Yeah, no, those are pretty cool. Yeah, no, I'm just, it's just going in my mind are all the ones that I can't say, so I can't answer that question, I guess. Yeah, it's there are some that you can hear, remember I told you about, like, the brothel, like, so there's, like, a home that I went into, and it used to be somebody's home, and then it used to be a brothel. Now it's somebody's home again. And so we were actually having a conversation with the person that originally owned it. And they kept, telling us, that they're with their third wife. And so even like while we're talking to him, his wife, which is, her name was Mary, she even came through, and she said a couple things that I honestly can't remember what she said. But you also in the background hear music and women laughing.
Oh, those are the best kind.
And so I'm like, wow, it sounds like you're having a good time over there. And he told me, "Thank you." And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean. So he got mad at me.
Oh, jeez.
Because he was with his wife, and here I am bringing up, hey, I hear all these women in this, and sounds like you guys are, sounds like you're having a good time, and yeah, he didn't like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's truly amazing that we can actually record. Well, I didn't think it was possible we could record residual EVPs, which is kind of odd. Prime example, we were at the Farrar Elementary School, and our guest investigator that we had, he told us that him and his team were sleeping above the gymnasium, and around 11:30, midnight, something like that, they heard or woke up to the sound of a basketball game. And they could hear it plain as day, the squeaking of the sneakers, running back and forth, running up and down the bleachers, the slam dunks. He heard it all. They freak out thinking someone broke into the school while they're there. They all run downstairs, open the door to the gymnasium, dead silent. Shine the flashlight in there, nothing. So they heard this with their ears. So a disembodied residual basketball game. Okay, well he told me that. Well, we try a lot of different ITC devices, and I was testing out the Ghost helmet, which is similar to the God helmet, but this is called the Ghost helmet, and it kind of looks like Optimus Prime's head. So, excuse me, I was wearing it. The inventor was there with us, and he was telling me how to use it properly and what I was going to see, what I was going to experience, and he just wanted to know what I was feeling, what I was seeing. Next to me on the table was the Devil Jersey box, and it was just cycling through like it normally does until it actually, hopefully a voice comes over. And usually it's all cleaned up and it has an echo or a reverb to it. So I get done with the helmet. I put the helmet down. Gavin comes across the Devil Jersey box. And I'm like, okay, it just said my name. As I turn away from the box, all of a sudden we hear what sounds like a basketball game. Our guest investigator looked at me and goes, "That's what we heard. That woke us up." I'm like, this? So I was like, oh my God, it's actually playing on here. So I'm like, how much you want to bet we're going to carry it in there? It's going to stop. He goes, I don't know. It stopped for us. So I picked up the double jersey box, and it's still playing that basketball game. We can hear the buzzer, the squeaky feet, the announcer, slam dunks, left and right. Go down the stairs, go into gymnasium. It's still going. I'm like, this is incredible. I put it down in the middle of the floor. I put a digital recorder on top of what looked like a big wheel, sitting next to the double jersey box. And just to see if we're actually going to pick something up, I put the Eddie on one side of the court and the Phantom Vibe on the other side. Now, both of these have a geophone on it. And we're listening to this basketball game. I'm now recording this basketball game. And when the person runs across the court to the other side, the geophone's picking it up. And then the other geophone picks up as the other team goes the other direction. And it's going back and forth with the sound of the basketball game.
Wow.
That just blew
cool.
my mind. Oh, yeah, we still have the recording of that. The only sad thing is, whatever is there is highly intelligent. It did not let us leave with the footage.
Oh.
All of our footage that was shot inside the school with all of our activity that we recorded was corrupted. Except for the recording, because after I got done with it, I put it in my pocket, took it out to base camp, and left it there. The cameras were always inside, and all we did was dump the cards. We took the cards out, dumped it, put the card back in, so the cameras physically stayed inside the location. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we weren't the only one. We found out there were 3 other teams where they left and they had nothing. So it allows us to see it, experience it, but it's not going to let us take it. That I can't understand. I mean, that is just, I want to say wrong, but it's kind of awesome at the same time that they're able to do this.
Right.
So.
Right.
But yeah, that experience is definitely something to put in the books, and that was a residual. We actually were able to record a residual basketball game. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
So,
yep, never heard of that.
So you haven't experienced that yet, have you?
We've obviously heard about residuals and stuff. And you always try to, when you hear the claims, that's one of the questions that you normally ask is, what time of day does this usually happen? Does it usually happen around the same time? And, to see it, that's kind of a residual, those residual questions.
Right.
So if the claims are, hey, yeah, this happens at 5 o'clock every day, well, then that's what time we're going to go.
Right.
So we've picked up, things here and there. We've never picked up a basketball game before.
I know, right?
It could be like a door knock or a footstep or keys or so, like things simple like that. But,
right.
not a game.
I mean, oh my God. And then I started thinking, going, damn, I should have had a thermal on that just to see if we could see players.
Yeah, true.
I am just hoping for the day when someone can develop some type of device that would allow us to, I'm thinking about 13 Ghosts, but anyway, allows us to actually see them. Put these glasses on and we can see them, so that way we know what direction to go. We are going to stand when we're talking to them. Because, right now, we could be talking to someone and they're behind us. They're snickering.
Right.
They're going, hey, he thinks I'm standing right there, but I'm not. So, yeah, it would be nice to actually have someone develop something like that would allow us to see them. Then, of course, when that happens, then it'll just all be over because it's proof that it exists and you can see it.
Yep.
So, yeah, until someone does that. What, you got something to say?
God.
Have you ever been in a location to where, how do I explain it? We had been to a location to where, luckily, we had a couple of females on the team.
Oh, God.
And basically, it was an all-girls school, and basically, gentlemen were not welcome there, and we ended up having to turn our group around to where we had to call in a couple more females to help investigate, because basically the guys had to leave the building.
Yeah.
And it was being a good investigation once the guys had gone to base camp.
yeah, usually it's better, right? No, I'm like kidding. I mean, it's kind of, I know that there's a lot of guy, groups out there and stuff, but I always think that there should be some women in the groups, or like just co-ed, just because you don't know where you're going to go, you don't know who you're going to talk to, who you're going to meet up with. So if there's, just say a little girl, and then they're afraid of men, well, that's, we should go in. You should always have, a woman in there just in case, you don't know who you're going to meet, or,
right.
I'm going to say, or if you get, those men who don't like women, well, then sometimes we can use us as triggers to go in there, and so, I mean, there's different aspects of what you can do, but that's why I always think, like, there should be, both people that do go in there, just to try, again, we're trying to get evidence, and, we don't want to be mean or rude, but you just never know what you're going to get with each person. Also, people, we all have our different energies. So maybe one spirit will like, one group over another, or, one person over another or something. I mean, just like the living, sometimes you get along with people, sometimes you don't, for no reason at all. You just don't like their energy, and you just don't, I'm not going to talk to them. So, so you always important to have different groups and just do different teams. I mean, that's why when we go in there, it's either I'm with Sam, I'm with KJ, I'm with Dustin, I'm with Steve. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, let's just all kind of like mix and mingle and see who can get what. See who, who wants to talk to who.
Right. Well, every team has to have an Aaron. Send him off into the dark areas where bad things are.
Well, we all like to go in there.
I kidded around with my camera guy, Brad. I was like, all right, Brad, I'm going to need for you to go down to the clown room where it's been heard that people get scratched and slapped and possibly bit. So I want you to go down there with nothing but a flashlight and try to communicate with whatever is there scratching and biting people.
Yeah.
He looks at me like, Oh,
I just love it when the clown room is next to the doll room, which is both of his fears.
Yeah,
God.
I was just thinking the doll room, yeah.
Yeah, no. I can't do clowns, I'm sorry. I've been scared to death.
Me neither.
Well, see...
Clowns and dolls are really, yeah.
Well, I was fine growing up until I went to a carnival, and there was this little clown. He would look at me and he'd wave. And then wherever I went inside that freaking carnival, he was always there waving. And then all of a sudden, this freaking movie came out called Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and that same freaking little clown that was waving was in the movie. So, yeah, I'm scared to death of clowns. And then get this. The industrial slaughterhouse, we went ahead and turned one corner to go toward the clown room, and there was a freaking clown from that dang movie. I'm like, this sucks. And dolls, I can't. Oh yeah, bringing us to dolls.
Oh God.
What are your? Oh God, this is awesome. What are your thoughts on haunted dolls that get sent to you through the mail? I ask everybody this, so don't feel bad.
What are the thoughts that are haunted?
Yeah.
When those people order the haunted doll?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you actually believe in mail a spirit? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't know because I've never had it happen. So I mean, I don't know. I've never experienced it, so I can't tell you. I mean,
It's mail order spirit. Yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, I'm just telling you, I would never order one.
I wouldn't
to
either.
even figure it out. But and again, I don't. There's so many people that say though, oh yes, it's definitely haunted. It's definitely haunted. But I don't know because I haven't been there. I haven't seen anything happen. So
Right.
do I take these people's words for it? I don't know. There's so many people that exaggerate or just think that things are going on just because it's in their head. Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. You can't. If you're going to mail a spirit, and you should see I'm doing quotes over here. Do they cover it with sage? Do they stick it in a box full of salt? Are they submerging it in holy water? I mean, how the heck does the spirit still attach itself while it's going through the mail? I mean, come on, really? No.
I mean, the only thing I can think of, like when spirits get attached to antiques. Mm-hmm. So would it be the same as the doll? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's attached to the dolls. I mean, it's the only thing I can think of. But
through mail
I don't know how many dolls are really that haunted with all the people that keep buying them.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's look at it this way. You got this guy selling a doll in California. He packs it up and ships it to someone in Maine. And this doll is, quote-unquote, haunted. Yeah, red flag. Sorry, I don't believe in it. Now, if you go to a yard sale and you buy something and then take it home, then yeah, that's more believable because it's at a yard sale and you're taking it with you. This is not something that's going to UPS, getting in a box and getting thrown into a UPS truck, dropped off at your post office, or the UPS truck drives it to your house. I mean, that's completely different than just going to a yard sale that's down the street and picking up a really cool mirror. It's just crazy. I always ask all my guests.
I don't know. I've never experienced it. So
don't feel bad. I always have to ask it. I'm sorry. It's just my pet peeve because I say it's straight up BS. But some people actually try to persuade me, and it don't work. It really doesn't work. You can't persuade me to tell me that you're going to mail order a spirit.
Well, I mean, I always tell people because it's kind of like the same thing with people like when they say to me, oh, I don't believe in ghosts. Well, you have to experience it yourself, and I'm not here to tell you or make you think, they're real. They're real. Oh my God, no, they're real. It's not up to me to really say to you whether they're real or not. If you go out, you experience it yourself.
Oh yeah.
Then you'll believe it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
Oh yeah.
And I just that's why I like doing events. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, I'm like, if you don't just come to the events and check it out yourself, and and I just love seeing the people when they actually, when things start happening,
when they experience it and they freak
out, get these experiences, and it's just it's cool, just seeing them like, oh my God, this really is real, and I can't believe that just happened. It's I love watching that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think experience is everything.
Oh yeah, we did our first 2 events. We'd never really done an event before, and what we did was first hour was Ghostology 101 to get them more aware of what to do and what might happen. And then the 2 hours after that, we went ahead and investigated the mansion. Well, I had a guy on my team, obviously was a skeptic, and at the end of it, he came up to me and he said, "You made me a believer." So I appreciated that, and I was very, happy about that. But I had fun with my crew, and most of them were teenagers, boys and girls. Oh my God, it was awesome. I would put the Mel with the REM feature on it, and I would be like, "Hey, if you're in this room, walk toward that red light and just touch it. And I would purposely move the Mel to where they are, and they're like all trying to like get their feet off the floor like there's a mouse. It was hilarious, but yeah. And then when the thing went off, oh my God, you should have heard the.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, and I love it. And you bring the equipment for them, and and have them. You teach them about the equipment, and then then they'll go around, and then they'll do their own little things, and it's just it's awesome. It's awesome, and I don't that I don't know if you know I have an event this weekend in Ohio.
Where at?
In Bryan, Ohio.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
And, yeah.
You're going to be up there with Dalen.
So what?
You're going to be up there with Dalen.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the show next week. We're gonna have the Ghost Brothers on.
Right.
Let's see, you're gonna be up there with Chris and Mike. Who are the other two?
Yeah. And there's Greg Lawson.
Right.
And I hate to not remember somebody.
Well, that's gonna be a good event.
Janet Hughes with the RIP files. There we go.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good event. You got 9 buildings to investigate.
And so there'll be a whole bunch of us, and there's still tickets available in case anybody wants to go. Cool. Friday and Saturday. But yeah, I know I can't wait, and I've never been there, but I've heard a lot of the activities that have gone there. So very excited to go and check it out. But that's going to be a long weekend.
Right.
Not much sleeping there. But,
so how was?
that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, how was Lizzie Borden's? I know you had an event there. Lizzie Borden is on my bucket list.
Yes. I actually really liked it. I personally didn't get too much upstairs. I slept in the room where the stepmother got murdered.
Okay.
So I slept in whatever, I don't know what it was called. But I slept in that room, and all night nothing happened to me. But I only heard one thing. Nothing happened. But I only heard one thing right before I went to bed was the stairs is directly across, and I heard somebody walking up the stairs. It was only 4 steps towards the top, and there's nobody coming down. I didn't shut the door yet. I was just kind of just playing on my phone and whatever. So I kind of looked over there, and there was nobody there. So I walked over there to see if anybody was there, and nobody was there. And so that was pretty much. That was the only good thing that I really had upstairs. There was a couple of EVPs up there. Somebody asked about how many pairs. What she ate or something like that, I don't know, and she's 6 pairs. And so, so there's a little, a few things like that happen. A couple of shadows. You see, when I'm looking for something, I'm really looking for something. So I need more. I'm looking for that person to appear in front of me. So so there are a few things that happened upstairs, but it's really the basement was the biggest thing for me. So we went into the basement, and we kind of sat down in a semicircle. But there was one of it kind of goes off in a couple of different places, but one of them has a curtain that's drawn, just storage area. But nobody wanted to sit near that curtain. It was just that curtain made everybody nervous,
Why is that?
Fine, so I sat. I don't know. That was the scary part. Was the curtain. I don't know. Everybody was afraid of it. So so I'm like, I'll sit there. And then all of a sudden, they had that machine was that the something.
Yeah.
So they had that machine going on, and so all of a sudden the curtain started to move.
Oh, wow.
And it was like somebody was peeking behind there and stuff. And so all of a sudden, like, I started, getting that cold feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started to shake. And then I was just shaking uncontrollably. So I was cold, but it was just a weird feeling. So the shaking was more than just that cold shaking.
Your inside were shaking?
When they put the machine on me, I had two spirits, like, practically, like, right on top of me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I guess that's what I was feeling. But so yeah, it was really, we did get a bunch of EVPs down there. I can't remember what they said. But there was a male. And one of them was a male, because that's all I kept remember hearing. But there was two people that were kind of like on top, and they just stayed there for a very long time. Yeah, so there's definitely stuff going on in the basement. So that was pretty cool. And the Ouija board, I really don't play with the Ouija board, but
we don't either.
People wanted it. People wanted to see it, and, whatever, I'll just do whatever, whatever they ask me to do, I'll do. I'm like, I don't care, whatever, It's just, you do what the people want, So it's like, I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I'd be careful with that.
Yeah. Well, it's not my house. I don't really, I'm like, all right, like, if that's what you want. I mean, I've played with a Ouija board, years and years and years ago, just to, play around and stuff. So it doesn't, it doesn't scare me. It really does nothing for me, but that's, like, that stuff was moving around. The board actually moved, so the planchette was staying still, but the board itself underneath was going in circles.
Really?
Yeah. And then they wanted table tipping, so that was the first time I've ever done that before. Again, something I don't normally do, but
wow,
you give what the people wanted, so I'm like, okay, I'll do that too. And I mean, the table, like, jumped up in the air, and then it was, it was tipping. I mean, I don't.
Now, how does that work?
I don't really know. What?
How does table tipping work? Everybody puts their hands on it. I know that.
Like with right. So kind of like with the Ouija board, you put your hands on it, and it's just, and it just tips. It's like you. I guess you just ask it questions, and when I did it that night, they weren't really asking questions. It was just like, okay, can you make the table tip? I mean, it was just, that was it. Yeah, so, but I guess that they can do that. They ask questions, and they just maybe tip it either way. I don't really know. I think more like psychics and mediums, I think, work with that.
Okay.
So I don't really know what the whole thing is, but hey, it tipped. And but I don't know if it's because somebody's there. It's just our energy, that pushes these things. I don't know. I don't know.
I was just kind of,
I would.
Kind of curious about it, because I've heard of it, but then again, I never heard anybody talk about it. So you're kind of the first talking about table tipping.
Yeah, I think, like, the only people that I ever hear talking about it are more like psychic mediums. They do that type of stuff. Us as investigators, we're more, our equipment and stuff like that. But again, if that's what people want to do, then okay, well, we'll try it. And I only tried it only because I had a psychic, or I should say a medium there.
Right.
And that's what she does. So, so that's why we did it. But,
yeah, everybody's.
But I'd rather with my recorders
yeah.
in my videos. That's kind of my thing. But yeah, like I said, like, everybody has their own way, ways of doing it, and what they like and what they're comfortable with, and to each their own. So.
Yep, everybody's trying all new things or trying to communicate with a pendulum, dowsing rods, just different things.
The last event that I did up in Maine, a lot of people loved the dowsing rods. Like that, for whatever reason, like the K2, the REM pod, like nothing was working. Not working, nothing was working. It was just like the spirits there, they really weren't really communicating through them at all. And the dowsing rods were going crazy. So that's what the people wanted, so that's what they played with,
I've always wondered how dowsing rods really work. I know that they work to find water, but how is it actually working for detecting spirits and also using it as yes and no? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because you're holding them. Are you holding them loosely where they don't move?
No, they have little handles. You have to. There's like special little handles, so the bar can have its own. The bar can move wherever it is, and then you just hold the handle that the bar is set inside. So you're not actually holding that bar.
Oh, okay.
So
the handle has a hole in it.
Yeah, you're just holding right, and then the bar sets inside that handle, and then it just moves. Wherever it wants to.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I play with all these little gadgets when I do these events, and but that's the thing. It's like, well, what do you have? Let me see that work. Let's see if it works. And
right?
Everybody just shares, what they know, and everybody teaches each other and learns from each other. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so much hatred going on.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, we try a lot of ITC devices. Paula has been using one called the Dandy Box, and it has 3 pendulums on it. And what makes this unique is you can use it for yes, no, and But what it does is when you say, "Can you ask a question and say, okay, this is yes," and what it does is it creates a tone when it swings. Then the other one has a tone as well. And then the third one has a tone. Now, they're all 3 different tones. So you basically work with them and say, okay, this is yes. And you go, ding. This is no. And it's like, this is maybe. And they can actually use that, which is awesome because it breaks the language barrier. They could be any nationality. You could have a German or a French or a Spanish. It doesn't matter. As long as they know the sound, they can do the yes and no and the maybe. Is that right? She's over here on her phone.
Yes.
Well, I just took your device and ran with it.
Okay.
Choose. All right, well, guess what? We are nearing the end of the show. It's kind of sad. We enjoy talking to you. But this is your time to have the floor, tell people where they can see you, how they can get in contact with you, what are your current events that are going to be coming up, if you're going to be doing any conventions. The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Well, let me see. All of my handles are pretty much at Shari Marie 826, which is SHARI MARIE 826, which is my birthday. And that's pretty much Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. What else we got? Twitter. I'm really not really on Twitter too much, but
Facebook
and Snapchat, whatever it's called, Snapchat. Obviously, I'm not on that too much either. But let me see. Once I start hearing about ghost hunters, we will be posting. Whatever I'm allowed to post, and I'll start posting that. But of course, I'll be posting events too once they come up. There are some stuff coming up, but things are not signed yet, so I don't really want to say.
Well, you got Haunted Brian.
So what?
You got Haunted Brian.
Oh yeah, well yeah, no, yeah. So I'm definitely obviously going to be going there. And like I said before, tickets are still for sale. And if you go on any of those social media places that I just said under my name, I posted all information about Bryan, Ohio, for this weekend. And so, yes, tickets are still available for Friday and for Saturday. Right, Friday is just kind of a little private event that we're having.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday is going to be a long event.
Right.
So you get information there. And yeah, there's some things coming up again, but I'd rather not say because, anything could happen.
Oh, of course.
So,
of course.
yeah, but otherwise, that's pretty much it.
All right.
What's going on?
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show, and we will definitely have you back on again. But I'm not sure how that would actually work if you guys were actually be, filming. I don't know if they would allow you to do podcasts during that time. I'm not really sure how that works.
Well, maybe we'll be on hiatus or something.
Right?
You never know. Yeah.
Well, you'll definitely have to let me know on times that you're actually off, and we can go ahead and schedule and bring you back on, and then we can talk about some new things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And good luck with you guys, too.
Oh,
thanks. Everything that's going on for you guys.
Yeah, everything is looking good so far, so we're just, keeping our fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right, then. You have yourself a good night, and we will definitely have you back on again.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, there you go, folks. You've heard it here. We were talking to Shari Marie DeBenedetti. She was on SYFY's television show, Ghost Hunters. So if you tuned in tonight, you actually got to listen to her experiences from living in her house. And, of course, we all can relate to living in haunted houses. We actually live in a haunted house. Well, we really wouldn't say it's haunted, but, we got weird things that go on here. And then some of our other guests that we've talked to, they've actually had some crazy stuff go on in their houses as well. So, but, you got to listen to her stories, her experiences, some things here and there with ghost hunters. And so, hope you all enjoyed the show. Remember, next week, 8 p.m. Central, we will have the Ghost Brothers. We're talking about Dalen, Marcus, and Jawan. And then a week after that, we're going to have our good buddy, Stephanie Bingham. Can't wait to have her on the show. And, of course, December is going to be the Tennessee Race Chasers Month. The first Wednesday in December, we are going to have Dookie. The second Wednesday, we are going to have Porter. The third Wednesday and the last of the podcasts for this year, we will have Mike G, Chris, and Brandon. So, yes, December will be the month of the Tennessee Race Chasers. Hope everyone had a good time, and we are signing off. Have yourself a good night.
Good night.
The Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Paula Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon.